So this is our main window, what we discussed yesterday. So what I will do here, I'll open a new template like architecture template and as a project. Okay. Okay. So once you open this project, now first step, yesterday we discussed about the units and project information. Okay. So once you set up the project units and the information related to the project, then third step, you need to define the levels. Okay. So here on your right hand side, if you see some floor plans, ceiling plans, elevations, all these views are available. Okay. So how to define the levels? Okay, so this is one of the major steps. So if you see in the curriculum, here we have the level placing option. Okay, so first we will discuss about the level and grid placing, and according to that we will discuss about then floor plans, elevation and sections. Okay, so here if I want to place any of the new level, means I need to go to the one of the views over here. So just make a note, we can create all the levels in only in one view, that is elevations. We cannot create level under the floor plans. We cannot create level in 3D view or in ceiling view, or no way. We have only one tab or one views where we can create the levels. So if you see on the architecture tab, this level option is there under the datum panel. Okay, so see right now I have opened my floor plan. So my level option is disabled. I cannot I'm not able to select this level options. Can you see? It's grayed out. Okay. Even if I go to the ceiling plan, see my ceiling plan is open now. Still this option is grayed out. So it means if I turn on the any of the elevation, now you can see this level option is enabled, or I can actually create the levels. So let's say this is my north elevation view. So I will just adjust this view and I'll try to create a one level over here. Okay, so I'll just make it like this. Now how to create a level? Okay, so for creating the new level, you have an option level over here. So select that option level. Then at what distance you need to create a level 2. Right now, by default, we have two levels like level 0, which is acting as your ground floor. Level 1, just assume as first floor. Okay. Now, if you want to create level 2, 3, 4 like this, now you need to define at what distance you need a second level. So let's assume over here our floor to floor height is around 4 meters. I just purposefully keep over here as a 4 meter, or it may be a variable. Like if you have something, some big elements of or we have some major HVAC or the MEPF work on the ground level, you can keep some extra height for ground level, and above that you can just assume or consider the minimum height will be around 3 meters. Okay, so now I want to create a level 2 on 3 meter. So what I will do, I'll just select this pick line option. Okay, and I will define some offset over here. Now why offset? Because I'm just taking the reference for level 1 to create a level 2. Now this offset is nothing but a distance between your level 1 and level 2. So how much I need? Let's say 3 meters. So I'll just put 3 meter over here, and I'm just selecting this line. Okay, now you can see one above one, there is one line showing which is indication that place you can easily create your level 2. Okay, so if I click over here, so now your level 2 has been created. Similarly,
Right, Lena?
okay, so here now level 3. So once you pick these options, automatically you can able to create a multiple levels. So see, I have created around 7 levels here. Okay, which is having the same distance. Okay, only the difference between here I have 4 meters and rest all I have used as a 3 meter level. Okay, so I just given a dimensions to understand. See, all the levels having the equal distances. Expect this level 0 and level 1. So like this, you need to define the level first. Okay. So once you define this level, now if you see on your right hand side, automatically all the levels will be displayed or appear in all the plans. Can you see ceiling plan has been created from 0 to 7. Floor plan also created from 0 to 7. Similarly, some structural plan also have been created over there. If you drop down this arrow, you can see some structural plan is also available now. But we are not no longer working with the structural environment. We are not considering those plans as we need only to be focused inside the architecture element. Okay. Now, if you again switch to any of a 3D view as well, you can see the 3D levels. But in this view, you cannot also create either grid or level. Both the options is grayed out. So just make a note, we can create the level or grid in only in elevation or level. And for grid environment, you can create a grid in floor plans. Okay, so if I select this level 0, and here suppose I want to define my grid. Okay, now what is a grid? Anyone knows why we require a grid? No. Okay, so basically, whenever we are creating any of a 3D model, we need a either center line plan or grid element. Okay, so here if you don't have any of the 2D layout or something to start with, so you just need to create a grid sections. So let's say I'm creating a grid like this, and the distance between grid, let's say I will define a 6 meter over here. Okay, like this. Then maybe this is I'll put around 6.5 meter, and then I will define the vertical grid. So here, if I want to define the, so if you see here, the horizontal grid, which is named as a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so definitely I need to change the number series. So instead of number, I will put alphabet. So I will select this first vertical grid, and I will define as a A. Okay, and again I'll create a grid options, pick line tool, what distance you need, let's say 5 meters suppose, and I will create the vertical grids like this. Okay, let's say like this. Perfect. Okay, so this is how we need to create the grids. Now, once you create the grid, and if you go to the 3D views, so what are the elements you are defining on the levels and on the grids, those will be displayed in your 3D model. Okay, so like everybody knows what is a floor plan, ceiling plan, elevation, sections, right? Any question on this? Like what is a floor plan? Why we need to create a floor plans? Or what is the sections? What is the elevation? Everybody knows? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So now once you create the grid of this on this any of the floor plan, you need to define the either wall or the columns. Okay, I think Aryan still is not able to join. Okay, yeah. So here once you define your levels and once you define your grid, so you need to define the column positions. Okay, so let's consider wherever we have all the intersections. So here you need to create the columns. Okay, so how we can create the columns? Okay, so if you go to the structural tab and if you select the column location, so here you will find the multiple columns options are there. Okay, so right now this is my still column are there. So if I want to load architectural column or structural column, I think I have not downloaded the library in this system. Okay, no problem. I will just load some other columns. Okay, so let's see if I want to put this column. Okay, whatever the hello.
Ah, sir, you are audible now.
Oh yes, okay. Sorry, I think there's some network issue at my end. Okay, now it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. Yes. Okay, so if I want to define the column, so either you can manually put the column locations like this over here. So let's say I want to define this 600 by 600 column. So just select this grid and define the columns. Okay, or also you have one more option, that is automatically all the columns will get created at the grid intersection. So wherever you have a grid intersection, where automatically your column will get created. But this will not be the case, right? In some of the cases, our column sizes and column positions are different. Maybe some column sizes are the rectangular, some column sizes are maybe circular or the square. Okay, so in this case, you need to first define all the columns sizes. Okay, maybe I have considered here 600 by 600. Okay, maybe here I need a column which is like somehow rectangular. In that case, what I need to do, if I go here, I need to duplicate the element, okay, and define the column types. So I'll just put CL, the name, okay, and I need a rectangle one. Okay, so I'll just put a rectangular column. Let's say 1000 by 400 or 600 depth, suppose. Okay, so here I need to define the size. Okay, so I'll just go here. So I'll go and here I can define the width. I need 1000. Apply. Okay. Now, so this is my new type has been created. Okay. Now, if I want to define this column over here, so see, easily I can define it like this. Okay. So once you define the column and if you turn on your 3D model, you can see all the columns has been created. So I'll just hide this level, which is not required. Okay. So these are the rectangle column what we have created, and these all are the structural ones. Oh, sorry. With 600 by 600, the square columns. Okay. So this is how we can easily create the column. with respect to the level wise. Now the column has been like they're starting from level 1 to level 2. So if you go to the elevation, so here you can see, okay, so if you see here, so add this the grid. Yeah, so all the columns are starting from level 1 to level, sorry, level 0 to level 1. Now if you want to create the same similar column, because column always are starting from ground level or maybe the from foundation level up to the top level, so we don't have any of the like no misalignment from with respect to the column. Like here we have at this location might be second column is starting from this location, no. So column positions, once you have fixed the column position, the column will be starting from one level to another level continuously. Okay, so in this case, if you want to define this column height, or if you want to define the levels for the columns, okay, that also you can do. Just simply select all the columns what we have created. Just here filter out with only the column. Okay, so now if you see on your left hand side, here you will find the base level for the columns and top level for the columns. Okay, now for all columns, what I have created, they are starting from level 0 to level 1. If you see here, base level I put 0 and top level 1. Now if I want to make all those columns will be going till the level 7, okay, then what I will do, I'll simply select the top level as a 7. Okay, you can see all the columns has been created from level 1 to level 7. Okay, so now if you go to 3D, you can see all the columns has been created. Okay, but actually this is not the right way to create all the column from one like from ground to top. So we cannot build those columns continuously from one end to another end. Okay, so we need all the columns level wise. So level wise means how all the columns should placed from one level to another level individually. Because when we are taking the material like material takeoff, or when we are calculating the quantity, in this case we need this amount or this data with respect to the level wise. So how much concrete required for all the columns in level 2. So if you want to calculate this, then your all the modeling skills or all the model elements should be either it will be level wise, or if it is from starting from one end to another end, then you need to split those elements into the multiple levels. Okay, so in this case, how you can define with respect to the floor wise. So if you again go to the column, select this, and all selected columns you can copy paste individually to level wise. Okay, so for this we have one option, copy to clipboard. So if you click here and paste to align selected level, just choose this, and I need from level 1 to level 7 separately. So you can see now if I select this, all columns are individually selected. Okay, so but if you see here, somehow it's overlapping. Why? Because height we have considered more. Why? Because here we have 4 meter heights and here we have 3 meter height. So we need to reduce. So in this case, what we will do, we'll simply select this columns, top level column, we'll delete it, and for this much of the columns we have considered top offset. So just select as and put it as 0. Now you can see all the columns will be starting from levels. This column is starting from level 6 to level 7. If you select this, this will be starting from level 5 to level 6. So this is how all the columns we have created level wise. If you see here, all columns are individually placed on the respective levels. Okay, and for this managing all the elements, basically we have this multiple views. Like everyone knows what is a floor plan, ceiling plan. So maybe ceiling plan you might not aware. So how this ceiling plan works inside the Revit. So if you want to place a ceiling, okay, now floor is something different, slab is something different, and ceiling is something different. Okay, so below the slab level we have a ceiling. Okay, well, what we generally call that fall ceiling or the POP, what we are doing. Okay, so those elements are basically comes under the ceiling plan. So if you want to define those ceiling, and if you want to do some kind of a decorations, or what we can say, some designs on your for your rooms, in living room or in any of the bedrooms. So for this to make the or to made those kind of changes or the designs, we need one level where we can actually create those things. So that level is nothing but your ceiling plan level. So whenever we are creating a ceiling plan, so which will be always below to your slab level by around 3 to 400 mm. Okay, I think someone join. Okay, okay, so this is about the different levels. Now, how we can create a sections? Okay, so let's say I will showcase you. Let's assume this is your floor plan, suppose. Okay, what we have created here, and this is your 3D view. So if I want to create a section like this, so if you go to the view panel, and here if you find one section line, okay, just select this and draw the line. Okay, so whenever you are creating the line, automatically the section will generate it. Okay, so how much area you want to view? So let's say I want to generate the section only for this much area, means these two columns. Okay, like this, and around total 6 columns. And if you see, one more new tab has been or one more new view type has been appeared over here, like a sections. Okay, so this is my section one. So if I go to section one, I can see the sections here. Okay, so right now we have only the columns, so you might not able to see properly, okay, the sections. But when you are actually creating the detail views, you can easily see the detail section. Okay, so for example, I'll just give you one. Let's say we'll create one easily staircase. Okay, here, so you can easily understand. Let's say cast in place. Okay, I want to create suppose 22. Let's say I'll put 11, 12 here, and somehow 12 here. Okay, and I'll put this. Okay, I'll just align somewhere for this staircase. So I'll use the align option to this surface, and for this surface to this surface. Okay, might be we require two more small columns and beam to place this particular staircase. Okay, so now if you go to the section, you can see staircase has been appeared. So if you put on fine mode like this. Okay, similarly, if you want to create the same staircase throughout the building, again just go to this one and put it from 1 to 6. Okay, now if you go to sections, you can see like this. So generating the section will be easily happening inside the Revit. Okay, so no other tool will give you this much flexibility, or easy we can create a section. Okay, if you want to change the section easily, just go to floor plans and want to cut any of the section from the staircase. Okay, just go to the view, go to sections, and like how you want this particular staircase, suppose. Okay, maybe like uh which is passing like this, again going here and here. So let's say create it like this. Okay, how much area you want to view? Let's say this much. Okay, and I want to split the segment, means like passing from here, then like this and this. So I'll just use the split segment option, and I'll just click here, and I'll see like this. So I want to generate a section like this. Okay, how you want to create. And then if I want to see the sections, now you can see section 2 has been created over here. So see this. Okay, so if you adjust the section, let's say here, if you go and adjust it, okay, or just create it like this. Okay, automatically the section will get updated. Now you can see changes. Okay, so this easily basically you can generate the multiple sections. Not only it's not limited to one or two. If you want to generate 1,000 section for one view, that is also possible. you can easily create. Clear? Any question? No?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, with respect to now for linking the CAD, so what we need to do? Okay, so one more point. What is a section box? Okay, so let's say this is a complete 3D model. Okay, so if I switch to 3D model, I'm able to see the entire 3D model. But let's say I want to focus only on this much of area, or only only this staircase and these two columns. Okay, but I want to see only this much of area in 3D view. Okay, so for this we have one good option in Revit, that is nothing but a section box. Okay, so what you need to do, so if you go to the modify panel, so here you can find this section box. Okay, but right now it is not enable. Okay, how to enable? So first you need to select the area that you want to view. Okay, so right now I have selected this staircase and two columns. Now you can see this section box has been enabled, and if you click on this section box, you can see in 3D environment you can see only the two columns and one staircase. So these are the box edges. So if you like stretch like this, you can appear the other areas as well. Okay, how you want to stretch, and if you stretch upside, okay, like this you can create. Okay, so basically when you want to focus on any of the one area to provide more detailing options or something, in that case this section box will be more useful. So just make a note why you require the section box, how to enable it, and how to use it. Okay, so anyway, when you are like when you people start practicing, then you might get idea how you can use the section box, how to control the visibility graphics with respect to this. Now, in so many cases, what happen? You can enable the section box, but you cannot able to see on your 3D environment screen. Why? Because if you press the VG and if you go to the annotation category, so here you need to first turn on the section box. You can see if you turn off this, okay, and if you I say okay, you can see I'm not able to stretch. I know I have applied a section box over here, but if I want to stretch that section box somewhere here and there, I cannot do that. Why? Because I'm not able to see those edges because I have not turned on the section box. Okay, so you should know if you are not able to see something on your 3D view or in your 2D view. So only one option, go to visibility graphics and check which element is not visible. Okay, so here we have multiple options like model categories, annotations, analytical categories, everything is there. Model category, it means complete 3D elements. Annotation category, it means completely with respect to the lining work, means 2D line, analytical tags, text, everything. Okay, grid also it's available over here somewhere. You can see the grid option. Okay, so first you need to enable the sectioning. So I'll just enable the sections box and I'll say okay. Now you can see I'm able to see the section box. So this is how we can actually see or we can work with section box like this. Now, if I want to change the location, I'll again select this much of area or two columns and I'll again go to section box. Automatically your section box will be reflected in different views. Okay. So right now, wherever I'm stretching, which is not available multiple columns, I think. Okay, only with respect to these directions, we have columns and might be in this direction. Okay. See, basically we can see the complete model now. So I have stretched the entire area for this section box. So this is how you can work with section box to be focused in one of the area to understand in detail. If you uncheck this, automatically section box will go off and you can able to see the complete 3D model, which is cannot be cropped or cannot be sections with respect to any of the one region. Clear? Any question? No? Okay. So now next we have about the linking and managing the CAD links. Okay, so we discussed about how to place the grids, how to use the columns, placing of the column, level placing, everything we have seen. Now most important, when you're actually starting the Revit modeling, okay, what you need. Okay, so as I told you yesterday, there are two approaches or two ways. Either you're starting with small bungalow project or small small residential projects, and you don't have anything as a 2D input. So in that case, you can directly start the entire project inside the Revit itself. But when we are talking about the big or complex project, always the particular stakeholders or the owners, they're hiring the architects, right? So architects are usually working with respect to the in like in CAD plans only. They first need to define the CAD plans and then only they need to start their projects. Okay. So for BIM companies or the BIM consultant, they will take that those plans as a reference and they will develop the BIM models basically. So if you see, I have this plan with me right now. This is a completely structural element plan. Okay, so here I can see the column positions, the beam sizes, everything they have mentioned. So what I need to do, I just need to create this plan in the Revit. Okay, so the one way either you can just see once you finalize the column positions, you can check. Okay, this beam is by 1100 by 600 depth. So what I will do, I'll simply go here and I will create that column. Okay, so if you see, this is the project what I'm creating right now. So if you go here, see, so I already prepare so many things over here. Maybe this column levels, these are the beams, everything I'm going to prepare. Okay, like this. Okay, it's around 24 storage project. Okay, so this is how you need to create it. But for creating this element, what you need a 2D layouts. Okay, so for this particular 2D layouts, you need a 2D CAD plans. Okay, right now I have this CAD plans with me. But if I want to append this plan in my Revit environment, we have two options. Okay, if you go to the insert panel, okay, here you have option link CAD and import CAD. Now, what is the difference between link CAD and import CAD? Okay, so basically link CAD and import CAD, we can easily import any of the 2D CAD layout. It may be a .dwg file, it may be any of the 2D format file like we have .dwx, BricsCAD, maybe some other ZWCAD, some other versions. Okay, mostly it will be preferring the .dwg like auto formats. Okay, so link CAD and import CAD, basically when you are doing the link CAD, okay, so whatever the AutoCAD file you are linking inside the Revit, okay, once you link or append inside the Revit and later on some changes happen in that AutoCAD file. Okay, so what are the changes the particular person is doing? All those changes will automatically get reflected in your Revit plan as well. Okay, so this is nothing but your link CAD. So your AutoCAD file, if you're appending in Revit or you're inserting in the Revit, still it will be linked with your AutoCAD. So if someone is working on that CAD file and he wants to change something, okay, so instantly those changes will be reflected to your model. But with respect to import CAD, this is not the case. So once you import this file, so that's file to be considered as a final one. And if later on some changes are happening on the same file, then again you need to remove that file and again you need to load the fresh new CAD file to be seen those newly appeared changes over there. So this is the basic difference between import CAD and link CAD. And the most preferable method is if you're working with respect to the design phase or into the early stage. In that scenario, you may need to link the link CAD options because continuously some revisions will be going on from the architects or from the structural sites, and those changes you also need to be seen inside the Revit if you're working into the early stage. But most of the people or most of the companies, they are working once they have finalized the 2D layout, 2D layout data. Okay, so once your 2D is finalized, then it doesn't matter whether you are importing or you are linking the CAD file, because anyhow those data, whatever you are reading or whatever the data you are seeing, those cannot be changed. Okay, so if there is any flexibility with respect to the data change. In that scenario, you can use the link add. And if you are sure like nothing is changing in your 2D layout, then you can easily use the import CAD option. Okay, so let's say importing process is almost similar, only the options are different. So if you click on link add option, same window will appear and same settings are there. If you click on import CAD, same settings and same window will appear. Okay, so let's consider I want to appear uh, or I want to import one of the architecture plan. Okay, so what I will do, I'll simply go to the level one, let's say here, and here I want to import that CAD. Okay, so I'll simply select import. I'll go to the desktop and I have suppose I'll go to the download. So let's say I want to use this architectural drawing, this plan. Okay, so just select this drawing and where you want to place. So I want to place on my level one. Only for this view, just select this option. So your import units will be mm. First, just check this drawing. What is the units you have given in AutoCAD? If you're not checking, you can just put auto select. Okay, so Revit will automatically detect what units you have in AutoCAD, and those will be detected inside the Revit as well. Okay, but if you know this, then better you can just select it from here, millimeters, and this is the positioning. Okay, so you need to match basically the your base point and survey point of the project. Okay, it should not happen like architecture person is working on one of the corner, structure person is working on one of the corner. Okay, so this may be the reason you cannot able to understand anything. Like when you are combining the model will be get merged or it will not matching at exactly at one position. Okay, to be happen this every the all models all data to be at one place. Okay, and which will be aligned to all other services, then you need a positioning. Okay, so this positioning always in industry people are using the share coordinates. Okay, here you're not able to see this. Why? Because I'm importing from here. Okay, but when you are working with industry, you need to go to the manage link, go to the manage link, and here we have CAD formats. So if you add here, you can see one shared coordinate option will be available. All settings are similar, only this change. Now, why this change is there? Like when people are working with the share coordinates, so all the suppliers like MEP of supplier, then MEP of MEP BIM guide, then architecture structural, they are aware about the coordinate system. They know where my project survey points start. They know where my project base points are there. Okay, and they know the coordinates as well. Okay, so they are directly taking the share coordinates of the those Revit templates and they are start working with. Okay, but in our scenario, what we will do, so we don't have anything. We are only the person doing all the services. Okay, in this case, you simply go to this link add option. Okay, go to the downloads. I want to just import this drawing, and I will just put center to center. Okay, so whichever the plans I'm appending, I will put all plans to be center to center, and I will just open it. Now you can see this is my plan has been bent over here. Now, once you have defined or imported this plan, now you know the wall thickness, you know this everything. So you just start creating. Just go here and place the wall. So let's say I want to place a wall. Okay, so need to match the wall thickness over here first. So first you need to measure how much it is. 150. Okay, so check whether you have any 150 wall inside your panel. So 150, 150, 150. I think no. Okay, then you need to create it. Okay, so let's say define this wall to be at 150 So I'll put the wall 150. No, 12 is 125 I'll put because we already have two layers. Plaster to be considered 12.5 12.5 and middle one will be the 125. You can see total thickness will be 150 Select OK and then create it. Okay, like this. So you can see now perfectly your wall has been created or placed on exactly on the same 2D layout. Okay. Similarly, you need to place the everything. Okay, so this is very easiest task to just redraw the same thing what you have in 2D. Because if you turn on the 3D element, okay, now let's say I don't know where I have created the wall. So here somewhere, see, because these column positions are not matching with this data because this is just a demo purpose I showcased you. Okay, so this is how we need to create a wall. Okay, might be if you again go to the level one, suppose. Okay, here, and again you can place it similar wall like this. So let's say create similar, and how you want to create, let's say create like this. Okay, so here maybe here we have one door, can place it like this. Okay, maybe then we need to create it. So I think this is a door, sliding door. So you can put it this face like this. Okay, which will automatically merge when you are creating this. Again, create similar, create it here. Okay, from here to here. Okay, like this. Okay, just you need to redraw. Okay, once you done it, you can see all the your walls and everything has been automatically created. Okay, only the thing is you need to properly align or import the data and you need to manage.